I promise you, I didn't write this song just so people could come up to me on the street and say, "I love your face." That maybe was a goal of mine I didn't know I had when eventually seeing it. Well, actually, it wasn't until I started doing interviews about it that I started to realize that was actually kind of a hidden bonus to this, which is when people would say, "I absolutely love your face." And I'm going, "Thank you." So, in all seriousness, I was not expecting to write any songs on this album. I knew early on that this was going to be an album of classics, songs that I've loved, songs that fans have wanted me to sing for a while, yada, yada, yada. But, everybody had to take time off right now. Everybody had to kind of 180 on whatever their projects were. And I started to write just based on what I was feeling, what I was seeing on the news. I muted the news, and I'm watching faces of, I'm just so tired of the pundits and everybody just talking, can't stop hearing themselves talk. And I had it on mute, and I'm looking at the faces of nurses and doctors and students and people who were genuinely afraid but also so hopeful. And I just kind of decided to sit down and write about the idea that when you take away all the noise, that there is so much hope and there is so much good in our desire to keep connecting and our desire to listen to the better voices, and so I wrote about that hope. I wrote about those faces. I wrote about the idea that, through all of the analyzing and punditry, that sometimes the simplest answer is just in seeing the essence of who we are and what we can get through during hard times. And that's where this song came about. I did it on GarageBand. It was my first time really ever writing a whole song, music and lyrics by myself, because I usually co-write. And just kind of put it into GarageBand. I slid it under the door, and we were able to send it to an incredible producer that I'd wanted to work with for a really long time, named Tommy Profit. I first heard Tommy's work on the NF record. I'm a big NF fan, and I loved the cinematic nature to his production style. And so I'm talking to Evan Lamberg at Universal Publishing, and he's saying, "Oh, you got to work with Tommy. He does those tracks. And I actually think he would actually fit in your universe really, really well because he's got that high energy and he also knows the orchestral landscape." And so Your Face is the first song that I've done with Tommy. And I hope it's the first of many we get to do in the future because he sent something back that afternoon. And that's what's on the album. It was so fast. That vocal on Your Face was recorded on a little handheld microphone in my bedroom. And the entire track was done by Tommy on his computer in that afternoon. And we could have gone back in and re-recorded a lot of things. We could have gone in and done a deep dive on a new vocal and a full orchestra and all that. But we also felt like part of the history and story of that song and how it was written and why it was written also relates to how it was recorded. And we decided that it had an energy to it that I don't think would have gotten better from making it more perfect. And so we decided to keep it as what it is. And so what's on the album now is kind of that 48-hour project. And we didn't really mess with it after that. So I'm really proud of it. And feel free to stop me anywhere and tell me how much you admire mi face.